Hey everyone, welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 814. It is, what is this, 2 days before, I literally almost said 2 days before Christmas. 2 days before Halloween. Welcome to the show. We're going to talk about, we're not going to talk about horror games only tonight, but we do have a good chunk of horror games to discuss. So we hope you like spooky
What other
games.
non-horror games are we going to talk about?
You said you were going to talk about I Am Your Beast. That's not a horror game.
No, I didn't have time to record footage because I was recording for the stupid horror games.
Well, then, fuck it. We're talking about nothing but horror games tonight.
Your tweet said was called it like a spooktacular.
Well, it seemed appropriate. We're 2 days before Halloween. It seemed like people probably are in the mood, right?
I'm saving it, man. I'm saving it. I was recording
2 days
footage.
before
It's
Halloween, 3 days before Mariah Carey returns.
That is true. Did she ever leave, though?
You shut your fucking mouth. It's not even funny, dude. First of
it's
all,
just
it's a
the
played
facts,
out
man.
meme. Second of all, it's not a good one. Fuck Christmas and fuck you. How dare you?
Man, I got heated very quickly.
Loaded, okay.
I couldn't really tell if Brad was.
I've been to haunted houses in November. Okay, I don't want to hear your shit.
I flew to Florida to go to haunted houses at Universal Studios last week. It was pretty fun.
Cool story, Mr. Forever Home. So glad, things are working out for you, okay?
Hey, we were measuring Halloween dicks. I figured I would.
While you were there?
Wait, what?
Never mind.
I thought you wanted to sit here and measure Halloween dicks, so I was doing that.
You're measuring bank account dicks, bro.
God, can I? You bitch. That is not fair.
What did you think I was talking about, Mr. Forever Home?
Well, yeah, you keep jabbing. I don't know what you want me to say.
Nick, you do not have to take this shit.
Tell me about it.
This guy's the idiot who had 2 kids. Like, you don't have to take that shit.
No, tell me about your magical time, Nick.
It was pretty good. It was pretty.
Did you do that last year? Didn't you fucking fly a plane to go see haunted houses at a theme park last year?
No, 2 years ago we did like a 2-week vacation, and we ended at Universal Studios where we went to. We only got to go through like 2 of the haunted houses.
Trip around Europe. I see.
No. Last year was our honeymoon cruise that we went on. Yeah, in Alaska. Haha. But I see what you're doing, Brad, and go fuck yourself. Yeah, but no, the Universal Studios had they had a bunch of different haunted houses. They had like A Quiet Place, and
piece of shit. People can Google that. I went to a Halloween event at my son's school, and he's in first grade.
Tell us about that.
There was a second grader dressed up as the dude from Terrifier, and which is crazy, right? Also, they made a costume for a second grader sized person. That's the clown from Terrifier. What's
pretty
up with
fucked
that?
up. That is pretty fucked up.
That's what happens when people like you rule the world, Brad. Mr. Halloween is goated.
No,
that's the culture we live in.
I also think Halloween is pretty goated, but I don't know. That gives me.
I mean, obviously, you like Halloween more than me. I mean, I'm not flying to go visit haunted houses on the other side of the country. I mean, so, damn.
I hate you so much.
I didn't even know what you were measuring. I didn't even say I went to a haunted house. I said I've been to a haunted house in November.
You got it.
Meaning I celebrate Halloween after the 31st.
I thought you were just here and ready to talk about all things Halloween. So,
I guess.
Whatever.
I've been playing a lot of spooky games, I guess, instead of watching a lot of spooky movies this season.
So since last week, I have now seen Smile 2. Remember that we talked about it being cinema or
absolute cinema,
or not absolute cinema. Let me tell you, that movie's pretty good. That is a pretty damn good horror movie. Like leaps and bounds better than the original, and I liked the original. Not sitting here claiming it's like art house horror or anything like that. It's not. I don't even want to start name dropping stuff. It's not like the Babadook or It Follows or anything. But like, it takes the concept that they're going with and uses it to great effect. And highly recommend. Highly recommend.
How was the lead actress
Naomi Scott?
You know,
she's great. She's great.
Naomi Scott, who played Elena in the 2019 Charlie's Angels reboot.
I completely forgot
Who
that was a
also
movie that happened.
starred Ella Balinska?
She's also
Ella Balinska, aka the star of Forspoken.
Oh, is that where I know her from? Wait,
Okay.
I don't know. Look, I don't. This is obvious. Like as far as film goes, this is definitely her breakout role. But she's really good. I know
her
you're.
role was Aladdin. She was Jasmine.
Oh, okay. Yes, it's true.
That's how we know she's got pipes.
Gotcha. I mean,
remember that song? Where
she's
she was
also
all, like, fucking...
strangely enough, she's also uncredited in The Martian.
Well,
Just
that makes
thought
sense.
I'd throw that out there. Thought I'd throw that out there, but no, she's fantastic.
Were you combing her IMDb page? I mean, that's.
I was. No, I wanted to. No, because like I wanted to know. I was like, am I supposed to know who she is, or is this like
I
her
had no
breakout
idea who
role?
she was. That's why I looked her up. She was in
Yeah.
that Charlie's Angels reboot.
Yes.
Did anybody watch that?
No.
Did not.
I just want to say the reason this came up is because Malia has this uncanny ability to like remember a face, and she's never seen this Charlie's Angels reboot. I'm pretty sure not a single person, people in the movie have not even seen that Charlie's Angels reboot, but she placed her, the star of Smile 2, which we haven't seen, based on a trailer, as one of the characters in that Charlie's Angels reboot, who was in basically nothing before that, really. I mean, which is crazy to me. And she also recalled from memory of this Charlie's Angels reboot that the other one, or one of the other ones, the one that wasn't Kristen Stewart, was the character from that game Forspoken, of which I played like half a demo of. She recalled that. She placed those faces together, which is crazy. So I said, okay, you have some strange, uncanny ability to do this. And I did know it. So then I was like, oh yeah, what was the fucking dude, that shorter guy from Twisters in, right? You know, the new guy? I mean, I just tried to think of some random actor that I'd never seen before. In hindsight, I remember he was in Hamilton. But anyways, besides Hamilton, I said, place that guy, motherfucker. And she said, oh, you mean that dude from those Crown Royale commercials like 8 years ago? That's him. And I'm like, you're insane. This is not normal, your ability to do this. And it's wild. She does this shit all the fucking time. I told, not only, we don't watch commercials. I don't know, were those commercials on TV? She doesn't drink Crown Royale. Why was she even, I mean, it's insane. It's insane.
Like,
and she named that guy
she's
too.
like a crow.
Like a crow.
Crows remember
like a crow.
face.
Like a crow. Yeah, like
and she can talk.
It's bizarre. She recalled that guy from Crown Royale commercials 8 years prior.
Malia is a talking crow. You can tell.
Do you even know what I'm talking about? Like the shorter lead actor from
from Hamilton. From Hamilton, yes.
I do remember him in Hamilton. Yeah. But literally, I tried to pull like some random actor that nobody would place in anything else. And she,
I mean, I'm going to be honest.
Almost instantaneously. It's not like she had her phone out. It's bizarre.
Also, just real quick, you probably could have picked somebody a little lower profile than the guy from Hamilton. He's not exactly an unknown.
I didn't remember he was in Hamilton. My point is, he's not in a lot of things. I just had recently seen that movie, so I was trying to find an actor that I'd never seen in anything else.
Since Hamilton, he's been
Crown Royale commercials.
He's been
Crown
in a lot
Royal
of stuff.
Commercials. What am I calling it? Royale, like with cheese?
Crown Royal.
With an E on the end?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Why am I calling it Royale?
You're mixing it with booze. Casino Royale. I don't know.
The booze.
Crown Royal. Booze. Jesus. The fucking booze.
I thought she was fucking. And then I watched some Crown Royal commercials.
Yeah, anyways, where are we starting tonight? Where we go? Oh, well, real quick before we jump into like impressions, some stuff I guess has happened, and I figured if I don't mention it now, I'm gonna forget before we get to the end. Dragon Age reviews dropped, and there's a Monster Hunter beta out there. Are either of these
you're
things?
blowing up my 4-player minute. I hate to say it. For shit that you're like, you know.
You got to pick one. Pick one.
Yeah, I know, but you're like you're blowing it up. You know, I'm up here for those franchises, and you're like, I like them too, which is good. That's kind of your shtick. But I'm saying, like, let's wait a little bit.
That's my shtick.
Get on the other side of the gate, Nick.
Yeah. Get on the other side of the gate.
You should maybe be a little nicer.
There are things that you're up here for, like I am with things, and Chris
You should
Davis
be
is with
careful,
things,
Brad.
and Crispy's with things, but you can't be with us up here for all things.
Brad,
You have like horror and serial killer stuff, and you know what? Like, what do you? Am I wrong?
can I just say you should be a
Came
little
down in a bubble, dog.
Oh, Nick, you should watch that
Doug?
new Gundam series that's on Netflix. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
the new
basically
Gundam
like
series.
it's like a slasher movie, but it's
Pause.
a giant
You've
robot.
been doing it all night.
That's-
You're like, oh,
that's
Max
cool.
too.
I just want to say you should maybe be a little nicer to the person who's going to buy Dragon Age on Steam and you're going to play it.
No, I'm getting it on PS5 because
I'm
built this
playing it on
PC.
Steam. Nick, I love you. Please be nice
Okay,
to me.
listen, motherfuckers. I'm not getting it on Steam because I built this PC before I had any children.
So it's your first child.
So you're still running a gateway? Like,
I mean, might as well be. It feels like it at this point. I'm saying it's my older son is 7 now, so you know.
Damn.
My
Damn, you should
PC's
upgrade
getting
your
a little,
PC.
a little long
Yeah.
in the tooth. I wish
Well-
I could, but I'm spending all my money on lavish trips around the country to visit haunted
No,
houses.
no, you're spending them on children. Crispy.
Hey.
Mostly like houses and cars and stuff, but also
well,
children. Yeah.
just-
multiple houses. You have multiple.
Yeah.
Well, Crispy, I'm looking at you.
Oh,
You
have
can
one house.
you can play my Dragon Age.
Yeah,
Just
I'm gonna
saying.
play. I like.
Actually,
hey,
I do hear it runs really well, so it's Steam Deck verified, maybe.
Ooh,
and
is this-
like, it's getting good scores. Pretty good scores.
Or
It's a
is it
li-
gonna-
it's a-
It's contentious. It's a contentious topic.
it's
a
a
Yeah.
little tempered. It's a little tempered. It's
is-
sitting at like an 83
yeah.
right now, I think.
It's not
and-
tempered. It's divisive, and it's
the
divisive
culture
in the
war
wrong
has
ways.
come.
It's divisive in the wrong ways. The culture war has come, and some of them are like Trojan horsing it, like, oh, you know, we actually don't like these aspects of the game, and I'm like, wait a minute, aren't you like on Last Stand Media? And like, wait a minute,
Yeah,
you
they're
just be like an
they're
alt
like-
right dude. But there's people that are like, you know, like
the
kind of on
pacing's
the
off,
down
and I hate
low.
women.
And I hate
No, except just the pacing's off.
What is happening on this show?
no. That's Crispy is making a point
Are-
that like
yeah, he's
there's
making a
people
point.
at which is
That's not
True.
a point. That's
No,
not
he's
something
not
to be proud
saying-
of.
You're just not following the joke, Chris Davis.
yeah, you're
Evidently
missing
not.
the. It's going over your head.
That's fine.
It's going over your head.
Who was it? Extra Life was like, did their video review about the game, and then
No,
we're
he
like,
was pissed he didn't get
quoting
review code. That's all
people,
that
like-
was.
oh, that's
was
what
like,
it, no, he was pissed that like
I gotta get
me
review
and,
code. Fuck it, don't
Grunge.
trust anyone.
Vivian Dark didn't get review codes. Or
Yeah,
something.
he was just kind of like butthurt about that. But no, there's reviews out there that are like, and they range from like really obviously like Gamergate or shit. But then there's like it's definitely an important game for the culture war. I'll say that much.
The next
That's for
battle
fucking
is
sure.
upon
I
us.
mean, there like there are people. I mean, there's a non-binary character, and people are losing. They said
Hell yeah.
non-binary. Wait, they said in universe. They said non-binary. That doesn't even make sense. It's a fantasy world.
Or what?
yeah,
I
it's-
think it was Paul Tassi like
People are-
tweeted out something the other day that was like, "I'm loving it, but there is a quest line that is definitely gonna rile up those people."
And
the
those
whole
and
thing,
those
though.
and those are the people who don't know what pronouns are or how they work.
Oh,
This
man.
whole this year I mean it's a little funny. It's sad, it's a little funny, but like this is the other side of the culture war, right? Dragon Age, it's going to be Dragon Age versus Stellar Blade and Wukong or whatever the fuck, right? Any studio that said some like offensive shit is their hero. So
Did you see that one guy on Twitter was like, one of the BG3 devs was playing Veilguard and was doing a Twitter thread about like, hey, so if you're a fan of Baldur's Gate 3, like, here's what I think about it from the perspective of, would you like this if you were a fan of Baldur's Gate 3? And like, there were dudes like replying to this guy being like, the fact that you're favorably comparing this game to Baldur's Gate 3 is a fucking insult to your entire studio and your coworkers for all the work. Like, it's getting fucking
to be fair,
really wild.
Baldur's Gate did raise the bar a little bit. But and you know,
Oh,
That's not
come
what he's
on.
going for. That's not what he's going
it's
for,
not what
Brian.
he's going for. It's not
Like,
what he's
one of
going
the
for. I will
Baldur's
say-
Gate devs is being like, "Hey, this game's kind of cool. Like, you should check it out." And they're being like,
I know
"Fucking
who you're
kill
talking about, yeah.
yourself!" Like,
I will say. I just want to say, you know, Dragon Age is like it's a big one for me because it's a franchise I've not only have I
You're
liked, but I've been
Warden.
very loud and critical about, like Inquisition and stuff, you know. But to me, this reminds me a little bit of, not on the quite on the same level, but maybe of like the Last of Us 2 discussion, right? Where obviously there were people who were going to be anti that no matter what, but then there was also people that had like legitimate criticisms, but like didn't want to be like, it was so hard to have a conversation about that game because it's so easy
Tell me
to
about
like lump criticism in with the people who were arguing in bad faith, right?
Bad faith,
It's
yeah.
hard. It's hard to like be critical. I mean, it's just a heated topic. I even brought up the comparison that Dragon Age is going to be a little bit like that, and people just went off about The Last of Us 2 again in our Discord. And I'm like, that wasn't my point. I was just trying to
was
say
awful.
that I know I'm going to be like fine tooth. I might end up being really critical of this game, but it's a shame that there are people who are like bad faith critical about it. Even, I mean, I'm saying like some of those people might even be
Onto
of the
something
real
in certain areas
criticisms might
Yeah.
be accurate, but it's so lumped. There's so much baggage now that it's going to be hard to talk about. So
Well, the one thing I can say here is that I'm looking forward to. That's why I like only like talking to video games with you guys because I know where we all stand. So I don't think we're gonna have that problem
You're
when we
excited
talk
about
about
this
it here.
one, Nick?
I am. Although I still have to.
I do
watch-
think that from the reviews I've seen, that people who really like the world of Dragon Age and the lore, and they've like been reading books and they follow along and they're excited to go to the fucking Tevinter Imperium, those people seem pleased.
Okay,
And,
well, I
like,
don't know what half the words you just said are, but I'm still pretty excited for this game.
And it's not like the skill up review wasn't making some points necessarily that could be true, but it's like, man, it's hard. Like, I don't trust anyone. I trust the glazing, and I don't trust any sort of criticism right now. I'm like, honestly,
You're
more
ready to
so
form
than
your own
any other
opinions.
game, I'm just gonna have to play it and trust myself only because it's all weird out there right
Maybe
now.
that's what we should all do. Well, we can move on. We'll be talking about Dragon Age obviously on a future show. I still need to watch my YouTube summary of Inquisition so I can feel like I've played it. If anybody
You
in
don't
our
have to play everything,
if
Nick.
anybody
I
out there
mean,
is listening or in our Discord and has and knows of a pretty good summarization video of Inquisition, please send me a link in Discord.
you
Would
just-
love that.
dude,
Would
just
love
type
that.
that question into Google and Reddit.
But
and you'll
like,
be
I
fine.
want to hear
Don't make
from
them
people.
do your work.
I just want to hear from people who have watched one and like know, okay,
Yeah.
this is a
True.
good one.
I guess
this is a
some
bad
people
one.
have been watching.
I don't want to
Preferably
waste my time
one
watching a
without
shitty
any-
summary.
Preferably one without any woke in it.
Shut the
Yeah.
fuck up, Crispy.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm so worried that every once in a while we're gonna find someone who just doesn't quite understand the satire. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about horror games. Where are we starting? Where we go? We got so much to cover. I'm gonna keep the trend going a little bit because last week, Crispy, we talked to you about Death Stranding, and somehow that dovetailed into you wanting to play Signalis, and you have since played and completed Signalis.
Since last I've spoken to you, I have played.
That's-
I've finished an entire playthrough of Signalis, which
And this
I mean,
game has changed your life as
you
well.
have to play
But you remember,
multiple
Nick,
times to get like
the way the
secret
ending.
but-
Okay. Do
What?
you remember the way the ending worked in that game, or like?
in Signalis.
Yeah.
I mean-
I know what you're talking about, and yes.
Okay. Okay. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So no, I didn't fall for it. I didn't. But yeah, Signalis. I actually finished it today. So like, a couple hours today, finished it up. Where to?
This is one of those like very introspective, like it makes you think really hard. Like after you finish it, it
yeah,
reminds
so
me of
it's like-
Soma in the way I was kind of like shell shocked when I
the
finished it.
story is very like Lynchian, where it's just kind of like throwing a lot of imagery at you, and you're not always sure what is real, what is like a distortion of reality, what is purely metaphorical, like and it kind of twists and turns and has revelations, and
it's
then by
kind of
the
a
end
love
of it
story.
you're kind of like, what the fuck was that? Like yeah, it is at its heart like a very awful tragic love story.
Yes.
um
And if you're not familiar with this game, if you like the way when you're actually like playing the game, this is a kind of a love letter to like
it's very
Resident
Resident
Evil.
Evil and Silent
Yeah.
Hill. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Which, I mean, right down to the fact that like you can even set it to use like tank controls and things like
Yeah.
that, which I did not do, but
But it's got like vibes of like Alien.
it
maybe
does.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, like it is a sci-fi, so it's like a sci-fi horror story, and like your character Elster is essentially like a replicant from Blade
Blade
Runner,
Runner. Yeah.
or like an organic android, right? Who is built to be the mechanic on like a two-person ship, part of this mission called the Penrose program, which is like a deep space exploration and colonization thing, right?
Right.
And every ship has a pilot who is a human and a mechanic who is what
An
they
android.
call replica, right?
Mhm.
And the game begins with like you awakening from your fucking hypersleep or whatever, and the ship has crashed on a planet, and the pilot's nowhere to be found, and you go off on a mission to find her, and then it just devolves into this like this like hallucinatory Lynchian nightmare from there.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That strongly strongly like leans on this idea that like you just like it presents you with many different possibilities of like what's going on, and like you're just not really sure which one is
What to
real.
believe? Yeah.
Yeah, you're not really sure what is actually going on. They like the fact that you're an android is a big part of that too, like because you as you kind of get into like the process behind like what replicas are, how they're made, like you begin to realize that like okay, I might
Aren't
not
they
just
like digital
be
copies of like someone's
so like the way it works,
soul,
yes,
or
they
like
take a they take a neural imprint of a person. And
that's
they tell
right?
you that really early. They're like different replica models are all based on neural imprints of like a highly valued citizen, right? Because you're kind of in this like totalitarian like quasi space communist. Uh, I mean, it's like living in East Germany, but like in space. Is like the nation that you work for or were
Right.
created by, right? And like they take these citizens and they use them as templates for these different replica models, and the replica models all have different applications. They're used for a lot of like menial labor. They're also used as like the police force and like soldiers and stuff like that. And as you go through the game, you kind of learn more about like what your model is. You learn about like what the other different models are, and you learn that like replicants or replicas are
Yes.
like, yeah, I mean like they have memory and they have interiority and they're like people, and like a lot of the operating procedures on how to use them is how to like kind of tamp that down, like keep that kind of not on the surface, and like basically like they have like psychological operating programs for like how they deal with these replicants to like keep them from like triggering deep like memories from like the human that they're patterned off of. So it gets fucking weird, right? Like this whole thing of like memories coming up as like, is this your memory or is this just
Person's memory who
part?
you
Yeah,
were.
is this part of your gestalt? That's what they call humans. Your gestalt memories, like and then like you start finding out even more about how all this works, and it's like even like yeah, like you learn that like your model's memory imprint was lost at one point, so all new models made off of that, like in that line, are made off of like one specific copy that was recovered. So the circumstances behind what happened to that original copy also figure into like what the fuck is going on. So like you're not sure what layer you're on. And then like at one part you are going in like completely just like like metaphorical scenarios and spaces, and like you end up in a place that looks like the fucking, you know, like the alternate reality in like Silent Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Shadow World or whatever.
The
Shadow
you
Realm.
definitely start to see the Silent Hill influences.
Yeah, there's like a whole
game.
part called Nowhere that like the geometry doesn't really make sense. You don't have a map. Like everything is like rusted and covered in blood, and it's just fucking gross and really cool. And really stressful. This game is fucking stressful.
It's like pure. I mean, it's one of, I think, the best like modern examples of like adapting like PS1 era survival horror to like modern consoles and whatnot. It feels better to control, but like it's still, from a design standpoint, it feels very classic.
The
that's one thing I really love about it.
Yeah, like the 1,000-yard view of this is like if someone like watched, you know, a bunch of David Lynch, 2001: A Space Odyssey, fucking like animes like Evangelion, and played Resident Evil, and then decided to make a Resident Evil like about android space lesbians. Like,
careful, Crispy, you're getting very close to it.
There's a cutscene. Like I was watching a video by Power Pack about this afterwards, just to kind of like decompress and make sure I remembered everything, because it throws a lot of information at you that it does nothing to contextualize, right? Like there's a lot of stuff they tell you. You know, it took me 11 hours to beat this, and there's a lot of stuff they tell you in the beginning that doesn't come up until the very end, or like never comes up but is like super significant. So like I was just kind of trying to make sure I got it all in my head, you know. And in his video, he was like pointing out there's one cutscene. I didn't even know this when I was playing, but he pointed out there's one cutscene where like in the same cutscene they do exact like visual reference to the sequence at the end of 2001 from the human instrumentality at the end on the last episode of Neon Genesis Evangelion, and one of the ones from like Twin Peaks or something. There was a third one. There's like 3 different references like in one cutscene. So this is a game that really kind of like wears its inspiration on. Oh, it was a scene from Ghost in the Shell. They do like an exact replica of like when like it. I don't want to give too much away. I don't want to like
those influences, like the way they're like kind of worked into the visualization or like art direction of this game, I think is really, really strong as well. Just in its use of color, its use of like the way it kind of makes everything look kind of washed out, but then it injects color into it to make things pop. And like the weather effects and stuff. I don't know, like this game just has a really, really cool vibe, and that kind of like bleeds out over into like cutscenes that like harken back to references like you were mentioning. It's just a really, really slick looking game.
It is. Yeah, I mean it carries a lot of influence. It wears it on its sleeve, but like the visual presentation of the game is super sick. And one of the things that like I kind of remember when you were talking about this, and when it was like going around when it first came out, and being a little just kind of like, I don't know, just because I had seen like some of the like more anime art like this, which is fine, but like the way the game looks in motion, like the in-game cutscenes, like look really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like the character designs rendered in that like PS1 kind of like blocky aesthetic look great.
Yeah.
Like it's such a
there's a lot of those these days, but I still think, and I've played a lot of them, but I still think Signalis is maybe one of the most striking from a art direction standpoint.
This and you know, I was thinking a lot about Lorelei and the Laser Eyes too, because I played that.
I haven't started that yet,
and that's also very this. I mean, it that's a very like, you know, roaming around the mansion and solving puzzles kind of thing.
Right.
Just turned up to 11. This is that, but like with a lot more like the puzzles are very interesting and very cool, but like there wasn't one that I ever really got like stuck on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the combat is kind of fucking harrowing. Like the enemies in the combat are fucking kind of stressful, especially since it's like Resident Evil remake where like the zombies will come back.
Yeah,
Um,
the oh my god,
but there's no like you have to like every
Crimson
zombie in the
Heads?
game,
Crimson
every
Heads,
like
thank you, yeah.
enemy in the game is on the table for like just resurrecting randomly, and you can only use like a very scarce item to destroy them. There is
Right.
no like auto like, you know, sometimes in Resident Evil you'd like shoot them and their head would pop and then you'd be fine. Like that never happens here.
Yeah,
You
and
have
that's
to.
one of the things. Like this is another example of how this game wears its influences on its sleeve. That was very obviously like taking the Crimson Head thing from Resident Evil 1 remake and adapting it. And I still think, even though I think the Resident Evil 2 remake is like one of the best remakes ever fucking made, like the Crimson Head thing is so brilliant in Resident Evil 1 remake that it still keeps it in the conversation. So to see that carry over to something like this is really, really awesome. I completely forgot that it was in this game.
And that fucking inventory, they only let you use 6 slots. Like
Yeah.
you only have 6 slots in your inventory. That gets to be grating.
Yeah.
I think if I played it again to unlock the other endings, I'd probably use the new mode where they like don't care about
I do think if I remember,
how much inventory you use.
very much like Resident Evil, I do think you eventually, or you can find an item that gives you like 2 additional slots or 3
There are
additional
Yeah, but
slots.
they
two
since
items.
patched the game or whatever to make
They patched
even
it so
a lot
that
more.
2 of the items that you have to carry don't take up slots.
Gotcha.
So like you get these like upgrades, like you get like the flashlight and you get this like photographic eye. You can
That's
equip
right.
both of those without them taking up slots. But I also think there's a like an easy mode or something where they don't restrict you to just 6 inventory slots.
Yeah.
Because normal still restricts you and it still feels like really it feels aggressive. Like
Yeah.
it feels
That's
really
it's like when you played Resident Evil 1 for the first time and you were playing as Jill, who could only carry 6 items as opposed to 8, or I have it backwards. I can't remember. I think Jill was 6
I think
items.
it was Chris was 6 and Jill was 8.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
It was.
Okay.
That's what Power Pack said in that video. But
Cool game.
yeah, and the other thing too is like this game also feels like you can kind of like fuck yourself pretty easily. Like it feels like you can really kind of like soft lock it if you're not careful. The one thing I
essence of
fucked up,
classic survival horror, though.
the one thing I fucked up was like there was a whole weapon that like you have one opportunity to get it, and I had the item I needed to get it, and I just didn't, you know. And then had to go the rest of the game, and then was like still seeing like ammo for this item I didn't have. I was like, fuck.
Every time
know?
you see it, it just like punches you in the gut. You're like,
It's
fuck.
like, fuck that, fuck
Yeah.
that. But yeah, it's fine. I finished it without it, so fuck it. I don't need the rifle.
I get the soft
and,
lock
yeah.
thing, but like some of the like most memorable like moments throughout my
Yeah.
like gaming history in survival horror has been like completely running out of ammunition and realizing I have to make it through like a gauntlet of enemies without any ammo, and just it's like I got to be good at like dodging and weaving and like knowing the map really well to like avoid certain enemies or whatever it may be. And usually if it's well designed, usually there's ways to get by even if you have like nothing on you.
Yeah.
But then when you find something, you're like, oh, thank Jesus. And it's like the most
Looking
amazing
back
feeling.
on it too, like I kind of like took a break for a day or two because I was like, "Ugh," like it's
Yeah.
getting hard and creepy. And then when I like sat down and finished it, it wasn't as oppressive as like I was making it out to be in my mind, but it was a nice challenge, and it definitely achieved the goal of like building anxiety. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah, this game is sick, and I'm glad I took the time to play it. And this
I am
was
too.
my Halloween horror game.
Well, I'm enjoying your I don't know what you want to call this. you're diving into like backlog and playing all these sick games from previous years and
my Crisis,
reliving them.
Yeah.
Well, it's great.
I've also been playing Metal Gear Solid 5.
Okay, I was like, what was the other game that you were thinking about playing?
I started playing both of them.
Beautiful.
I didn't even wait. I played Signalis the first night for like 4 hours until it got dark out and I got scared, and then I started playing Metal Gear Solid.
Now I need something light. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get that.
And Metal Gear is fucking cool too, but yeah, you know, whatever.
Metal Gear is not light.
Well, I would like to hear. I would like to revisit Metal Gear
It's
Solid
not light,
5
but
later
it's not
again.
scary.
It's not scary, but there's some
scary
fucking
because
dark shit
today
in 5.
I played the mission where like you have to blow up these tanks and kill a guy, and then like when you steal the intel, you find out that they're on the move. So like I set up a trap and blew up one of the tanks, but then the other, like the truck and the other tank, took off. So I was literally just like running after them with a rocket launcher, and I stood up on a hill and I shot the last tank from like fucking like 500 yards away with this rocket launcher and blew it up, and was like, that is
The coolest
the
shit.
coolest shit in the fucking world. So good.
Yeah, let's the next deep crispy dive. should
When's
be
the
Metal Gear
next
Solid
big
5.
open world Metal Gear Solid game, huh?
Well, I have bad news for you. I'm gonna pass the baton over to Brad and let him
What you
pick one of your mini games that you've been playing.
One
I
of
don't know
my
which.
mini games or my
don't know
mini
what-
games?
No, one of your mini MANY mini games. Pick one of your spooky games.
Let's hear about Closing Shift. The Closing Shift, hotly recommended. Chai Tai gifted this to me a while back.
Beautiful.
People were like, "Oh, you should play that. That one's good." I finished it. I will say I tried to load up my save, and I'm like, well, this is just the end of the game. I can't really show this footage. It doesn't really show what this game is like. So I guess I'll start a new game. The only problem is when you start the new game, this is the game where you play a coffee barista, yes, in a
Starbucks.
in like a Starbucks like, and you serve coffee.
Oh my god, what the
And
fuck?
there is it's just dark outside. There is coffee making mechanics. I will say they were very obtuse when I first started the game, and I was very frustrated because I felt like I got duped into just doing a job. I'm like, oh, this is a
Yep.
horror game,
Gotcha.
but I'm just doing a job with bad mechanics, and like it was ridiculous. Now, this footage from the beginning of the game is going to be me just working in the coffee shop. I didn't get to any footage where anything spooky happened because here's the twist: it gets spooky. And but you know what? I feel like it was important that I share my experience as I experienced it. Except now I'm quite good at making coffee. When I first started the game, like the controls mechanics of how you make coffee is insane. And maybe it's like that on purpose, where you're like grabbing the cup and then you got to get the milk and put the milk in the steamer, and you got to steam the milk because you're making a latte, but it's a caramel latte, so you got to use caramel sauce, but not the caramel syrup. And like every time you fuck it up, you just have to throw it all in the trash.
Is this game supposed to give you an appreciation for baristas and what they do?
No. No,
None at all.
So it's like it's a mechanics game, like it's a game where you're taking a lot of steps, and people are giving you orders, and you have a board in the back room that tells you what's in a chocolate chip chilappuccino or whatever the fuck, and you're like, oh, okay, this one. Like there's one I keep fucking up here, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this one? And it's like, oh, I'm making a hot coffee. This is a cold brew kind of thing with fucking ice in it and
Man, it gets
milk in
deep.
it, and I'm just making the wrong fucking thing. And they're ordering pastries and shit, and then like a fucking group of like 4 people will come in. They each want a fucking pastry and a coffee, and all the coffees are different. It's fucking insane. I was so frustrated just learning it to play the fucking game that I knew was going to be spooky because I watched the trailer and it gets spooky, and sure enough, stuff's going on. There's like a stalker maybe, and there's customers coming in, and they're kind of like hinting at it. And then some customers are coming in. You're like, what's up with that dude? He looks weird. And the game is like spooking you with other stuff because you're not just making coffee. You have to like close down the store because it's like the
And you're
closing
closing
shift.
by yourself.
So you're like taking the garbage out to the back alley to put in like the dumpster or whatever, and it's like fucking creepy and shit. And you're like wiping the tables, but like everything, like when you're doing something, it kind of like forces your perspective to like look a certain way, and you just desperately want to look out the window because you're afraid something creepy is going to be up there. And goes places. It fucking goes places for sure. It's wild that they made a horror game out of something that is also like me- mechanically demanding.
It's rare, but it happens.
Like running a coffee place, and like it kind of like builds some dread because you're like you're scared and you got to get through these fucking orders, and you want to get to like in the fucking day, or get to like the scary part, or just like fucking get through the
Here's what
shift
they
or
did.
whatever.
They made a
Like
game where you get so wrapped up in making coffee that you forget you're playing a horror game. So when they hit you with the horror,
kind of right. It felt like a prank at first because I was getting so frustrated with the controls, and I just wanted to like I didn't want to spend my whole night figuring out how to control this fucking game. And it felt like a prank because I was just doing a job. It like wasn't even a spooky game yet. I was just figuring out how to play this coffee game with somewhat poor interface mechanics and stuff. But when I got good at it, it got a little fun, and I was able to enjoy the horror aspects of the game, which are like the way they creep in there and the way they do it is like kind of cool. And there's some good like horror bits, if you will. Like there's horror. Gimmicks and like twists, and like the you have a fully functional drive through. But like I did so much like front counter shit just getting used to the game, that when all of a sudden like a car was fucking behind me and I heard the engine, I was like, what the fuck is that? I was tense, right? Because they keep like doing little like scary things, towards the end of your shift.
like
The power
creepers
goes
driving
out.
cars. Oh, power.
Like the power goes out, and it's like, oh well, that's weird. Why'd the power go out? I still have to go mop the fucking floors, but I'm on edge, right? And there's even one part where like something, I don't know if it was a dream or not, because you're kind of there's like a few days in the life of this person. So sometimes like something really scary happens, but you like wake up for like the next day or the next shift or whatever, and you're like, was that a dream? That was weird. um there was a really tense moment where like all the lights cut out, and then like some really creepy person came in and just ordered coffee, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm fucking up the order or what, but there's like a big like alarm clock that's the size of a wall like out in the parking lot, and it's like ticking down as I'm desperately trying to make, I don't know, this
What the
ghost
fuck?
order. And I was so fucking, I kept fucking it up, and I didn't know if it was because these mechanics are fucked or if I was supposed to be. I was just really tense, and I didn't get him his coffee, and I didn't know if I fucked things up. And I'm putting the fucking ice in the blender without putting the ice in the fucking ice thing, and I'm
Barista
just as soon as
Brad.
they did bathhouse. What the fuck is bathhouse? I don't
I
know
don't
what
know, but apparently
bathhouse is.
this developer makes a lot of games that are like this, according to
It's a
Sony.
neat idea,
Yeah.
and it's funny that I couldn't capture footage where anything scary happened, unless you think work is scary, and it is. So it's its own
Touche.
sort of existential horror, I suppose.
Cool.
That like I'm never gonna get through this shift, and like a football team comes in, and you're just like, kill me. Like
A
these
whole
fucking
football.
assholes.
Yeah.
And they're like literally arguing about what they want to order. These
See,
punk
I'm
ass
looking at this
kids, and I
footage
just
and
want them to fucking walk off a cliff. I'm so mad.
I'm looking at this footage, and because the game, it does have kind of like this unique style to the way it looks.
Yeah, weird art style.
All of these people standing in line, who I assume are just regular people waiting for coffee,
Nice tickets.
they look creepy to me. Something about them is creeping me out.
Yeah, no. The art style is like creepy, and I think it's kind of like that on purpose. Like you're definitely kind of like, it kind of puts you on edge, like right from the start. But
So
then,
Zelgun in chat says, according to Steam, The Bathhouse is a remake of a Japanese horror game that revolves around working at a bathhouse. So it's probably like similar kind of like like building horror around like mundane working mechanics. Seems to be like doing tasks while being haunted.
But it was a neat little game. was a neat
How long
little
did it take you to
and,
finish this? Like, is this something I can knock out in like a sitting or something?
a
Or
few hours. Yeah. This is like a single sitting game. If you're spending your night, just know that learning the oddities of the mechanics can be a little frustrating at first. Um, there was one point where I had like fucking 18 ice scoops in my inventory, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And I had to put them all in the trash can.
you done
Yeah.
goofed.
I do want to like let's skip to the other horror game I have footage of if you can, Chris Davis. I've been playing quite a few of horror games here and there. I even tried to do I tried to do this thing where I really wanted to listen to like horror stories from like a horror podcast I listened to while I
While you
was
were playing?
streaming. And the thing is,
Interesting.
I didn't have time to like curate the list. I had this idea and I didn't have time to like curate a list like via Reddit of like what are the best episodes. So I just started to like kind of pick like one-offs that were recommended. And I wasn't like doubly, triply confirming, like, oh, 3 people agree that this is the scariest episode. I just was picking random episodes kind of. And like some of the choices were a little strange, but I was playing like Halls of Torment while I was doing it. I don't know how it I think if I curate the list a little better, that stream will go well. But I'd like to do another one of those streams before Halloween, maybe. But I'm kind of running out of time. Anyways, the other game I played, amongst others, the one I'm going to talk about tonight is called
Tormenture?
Tormenture. I don't know how to say it. Tormenture. And this is a game. This one's pretty wild. So are you familiar with Atari's Adventure? It's like one of the first open world games. Where
you play as a square.
You play as a square. Yeah, you do play as a square. And it's kind of like an open world game where you're like getting keys and like maybe doing some light exploration, puzzle solving. Well, they made that, but like a horror game, and this footage is going to look really dark, so it might be kind of hard to get a sense
It looks
of.
like you're playing from the perspective of someone who's sitting in their room playing this game on their TV.
Yes, and there's stuff in your room that you can interact with. This footage is really dark. Was this shit dark on the stream?
I mean, I can see it just fine. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'm looking at my phone though. And anyways, so this game, I saw a trailer for this and I'm like, oh, this looks really cool. And when I started playing it, I immediately realized, oh, this game is really cool. And it's not just because like it's a good mix of like you're playing this
modern and retro
adventure game that is like surprisingly like neat and like it feels like good to play, and it's like
you're talking about the actual
there's
Atari
cool,
style
like,
game
puzzles, and like the exploration is satisfying. Like it's what am I trying to say? It reminds me a little bit of like Animal Well, where it's like I just need to figure out how all these pieces work in this world, like mechanically. Like I'm curious, oh, this object is weird. I wonder what it does, and just kind of like figuring that out and like how it interacts with the other things in the world, and those things interact with you and what you're doing is kind of like half the enjoyment of the game. Very much like Animal Well, but like it's a horror game, right? And it gets scary, like even in this, like not even 8
in the
right?
Atari
This
game.
Atari game, like the sound design and stuff is really strong, and it like gets really weird and tense, and I'm about to like solve a puzzle and it's gonna like waste a lot of the footage, but know that like it's crazy that if you skip ahead in the footage, I do get to some like out of game stuff. There's stuff in that room. Like obviously you're pulling out of the game to like keep track of your map, which is like surprisingly, it's not, it's surprisingly like,
and the map is like
like this works very well. This works well.
The
It's
map is like
hand-drawn map
somebody
in a notebook.
Yeah, like a note, like they took like a steno pad.
Like a game like Adventure back in the day, you'd have no way of really kind of tracking your progress outside of like some
like how I
handwritten
played
shit,
Tunic.
right? This is good. Leave it here.
Or The Witness.
And like but like the stuff in the room is like crazy. Like I discovered some of it in the footage I didn't even notice existed. Like I opened a drawer and I'm like, was I able to open that drawer before? And not only was there like the instruction booklet for the game, which is like, oh, I really need to read through this, but there was also like a speaking spell in there, which speaking spells are inherently creepy. There was like I heard an animal sound while I was playing the game, because you're hearing stuff that you think is maybe in the room and not necessarily in the game as you're playing the game. Like there was one point where like lightning was flashing in the game, and then like it happened again, but it sounded a little different. And then I realized, oh wait, it's lightning is flashing outside my house, of the house that I'm playing the game in. Shit's is getting weird and is gonna get weird. And like
do you ever leave the room?
There was like an animal sound. I opened a drawer and there was one of those child's toys where you like spin the dial and it like spins around and it lands on an animal and that makes that animal sound. And I'm like, oh, there's some shit going on here. So like Inscription meets Animal Well. Inscription meets Animal Well is the vibe I'm getting. But obviously it has like that very old school Atari aesthetic. And like in terms of like open worldness and puzzle design, it seems good. It feels good. Very open ended. Sorry, Nick, go ahead.
I was just wondering, do you ever leave the room, or
I don't know. I'm not. I'm like an hour and a half into this game, and I have no idea. I don't think so, because it's not like you're walking around the room like Inscription or anything. You're just sort of like everything is just sort of around you when you go into the room, which you can at any time. And I think there's going to be some like clever interactivity between the two. But like if you look around the room, there's like darts that you can pick up and throw around the room, and I'm sure that's going to like do something. This speaking spell is certainly going to like have some shit going on. And
the speaking spell is really all that's necessary.
There's like one of those phones, like old school kids phones with like the eyes on it, like with
a Skinamarink.
The Skinamarink, is that what that's called? Yeah,
this movie is named like, after that toy. I had no idea.
No,
this is
the toy is now called a Skinamarink because of that movie.
Oh, really?
I don't know anything about that movie, but I'm too afraid to watch it.
Dude, that movie is not good.
I do know about that game.
No, it is.
I do know about the movie,
but it is not for.
So not only do I think it's for me. It is the kind of horror that maybe scares me most. So I'm a little too afraid to watch it. And I know it's like very art house and very divisive.
I think that is like the understatement of the year, Brad, because I watched it for very much the same reason, because I was thinking
I could show you some art house shit that like would.
But like I don't think you understand how obtuse this movie is. Like
I do. I'm very familiar.
I went into it fully expecting it to get fucking weird and obtuse. And I went so far beyond my expectations that I didn't even enjoy the movie.
It's one that got more mainstream. Look, I have there's a Guess Who game that you can actually like utilize, and I'm pretty sure that's going to come into play in the playing of the game and figuring out puzzles. Anyways,
dude,
those
Skinamarink
it reminds me of like Long Legs, a game that or a movie that got more like popular virally than it probably ever should have been, if that makes any sense. Maybe that's unfair for Long Legs. It did have.
I think that's pretty unfair for Long Legs.
But Skinamarink wasn't a movie for everyone, although it seemed like everyone tried to watch it.
I pitched Skinamarink in a group setting to watch when we wanted to sit down and watch a horror movie as a group, and I still feel guilty about it to this day, because we pushed through the entire movie, and at the end of it, everybody in the room was like,
it's not for casuals.
We just wasted 2.5 hours.
It's not for casuals. You have to have a love of cinema to get where it's coming from.
Yeah, this is no Smile 2, Nick.
You are the biggest bitch. Like that is not even what I'm trying to say. Like I like weird, obtuse concepts, but like there is a point where it goes too far. And I think Skinamarink does that within 45 minutes.
Regardless, it is still like the kind of horror that like scares me the most.
Did you watch it in theater?
Not just scares me the most, but the kind that like.
But I did watch it.
Yeah,
I watched it in a room with like surround sound and a pitch black room.
With a group of people.
But with a group of people.
That is a movie you watch in a movie theater
by yourself,
or in like a dark bedroom on a CRT. Like
completely isolated.
That is like, yeah. Sorry.
House horror is the kind that like sticks with me. That makes it like hard to like. Oh, I can't.
House horror.
I'm actually need to wake up my wife because I'm a little too scared right now. Like that it kind of fucks with me.
But here's my problem, and this is we can drop it. We can drop the Skinamarink thing. I just want to say like I'm kind of in the same boat with you on that. But at some point, like the reason I don't think Skinamarink worked for me is because I was like, I feel like I should be scared, but I don't know what I'm scared of, because I don't think the movie.
I don't think issue. It's fine.
Did you just say it's a skill issue?
It's fine.
You punk ass.
It's fine.
Bitch.
Not for everyone. I've not even seen it, Nick. I'm just trolling you.
I hope you watch it, and I hope if you don't like it, you're man enough to say, Nick, you were right. If not,
I started watching 10 minutes of it, and I had to turn it off because I was already too on edge.
I felt that way too for about 30 minutes, and then it goes on for another hour and a half. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Maybe it's not even that long. It felt like it was that long.
Different.
How long? Someone look it up. How long is Skinamarink? Because it felt like it was 3 hours long. Anyways, I'm sorry. Tormenture. We got off.
I think it's like maybe an hour and a half.
Okay. Well,
Nick, I gotta say, I defend you from a lot, but this is the normiest take I've ever heard come out of your mouth.
Oh my god.
This is your normiest take.
No, he's not saying all your takes.
Dude, I was the one who went to bat for this movie. I was like, guys, just.
I know.
Hear me out.
For a movie you hadn't seen, though. That's
you,
different.
Yeah, I know.
You're not going to give me any credit for actually watching it from start to finish, even though I wasn't enjoying myself. And it's not that I wasn't even enjoying myself. I was enjoying myself for the first like 30 minutes, and then at some point I was like, what have I pushed on these people?
I think you got in your head.
That instinct right there is also like the most insulting.
You got in your head during the viewing of this because you started thinking about what others were thinking, and I think you couldn't enjoy.
And I think you're probably. I think Crispy especially is probably picturing us watching this and thinking that we're just sitting here constantly talking through the movie, but that is not what was happening.
No, I'm not. I think that movie demands your attention. Like it, like yeah.
And it did. Like we couldn't. Like we were like so quiet. Like hyper focused on the screen.
That makes it worse for you.
Yeah.
Because you, at some point during that viewing, you so desperately wanted something like jump scare to happen just to entertain the people.
No, I wanted something that
it ruined.
No, it's not even. That's not even what I'm saying.
I'm just saying. I believe an experience can affect a viewing of a movie.
But I'm saying that experience wasn't. I mean, aside from the fact that I was watching it with 3 other people, the experience wasn't far from what Crispy said he recommends. Because it was a pitch black room in the middle of the night.
You're saying that you still feel guilt over it means you were probably really in your head when you were watching that. I get it. I've been there before. Honestly,
a room full
trying
of
to get people to watch a movie that I really liked and then not responding the way that I wanted to.
A room of people not enjoying art house would ruin the experience, and that's kind of what was happening.
It's not complicated.
Sorry, I didn't mean to like completely derail this conversation. Let's take a break, real quick.
That was Tormenture, by the way, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, Tormenture. Sorry. Also, we talked a long time about Skinamarink.
Too long.
That was just a demo, too.
That was just a demo?
Or do I have the game? No, Carlos bought it. The Steam family makes it really easy to play cool games, let me tell you. That's probably why I've been playing so much stuff.
That's why Crispy's been playing some cool shit.
And why you've been playing some mid shit that we're going to talk about after the break.
Wow, what is with you? I feel like you're coming at me today, Brad. I don't understand.
Today? That's such a weird thing. We've been podcasting for how many years?
I know, but some days you're like, some days you
go a little stronger than normal today.
A little stronger than normal. It's like, anyway, whatever.
I literally called a video game mid, and you thought it was a personal attack against you. That feels like a you problem.
No, that just means before I even had a chance to say anything about a game, I could have been really excited to talk about
railing on this game since Chris Davis talked about it.
That's not even the game I'm going to start with, or the game I'm thinking about right now. When we come back, I'm going to talk about Outlast Trials. Okay, I don't think that game is mid. So, anyways, we will we'll talk about a couple more games and then wrap up with the 4-player minute on the other side. So if you're watching us live or listening at home, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the show. As promised, Chris Davis, during the break, you said you had some quick mentions you wanted to throw out there. What you got?
Quick.
Just right to it, right to business.
Yeah, sorry, writing down the timestamp for this. So I finished 2 things. I played through to completion Tactical Breach Wizards.
Oh shit!
Delightful game. Delightful.
No, I feel like that was a very
better or worse than Peglin, though.
Well, who
Brad's never going to let that go. Never ever going to let that go.
No, I played through it. Man, that fucking writing is so much fun. Those characters are so much fun. All those gameplay possibilities that they throw at you, just like it's the whole fucking kitchen sink of anything you could possibly think to do with these characters, especially with that final boss fight, how you had to completely think about every aspect of your characters to solve the giant puzzle there. God, so fucking good. Everyone should play Tactical Breach Wizards.
I can now because of our family plan.
Yes, everyone should. This is definite Game of the Year contender. The other thing I played, and maybe we ought to save it for next week when Nick actually plays it, but I played through the DLC, The Lake House, for Alan Wake 2.
Spoiler alert, I don't think I'm going to get to the Lake House before next week. Personally, I really wanted to play all the way through Alan Wake 2 again before getting to the Lake House. I don't know if that's going to happen still.
Wow.
Oh, you didn't do the final draft?
I have not played the final draft.
Okay.
I really want to play the final draft.
Why do you want to play through the whole game again before that?
Because I want to play the final draft. Like that's
What's
the
final
reason.
draft?
It's a huge update. It changes a lot of stuff related to the ending, if I remember correctly. Chris Davis can probably give you the better breakdown than I can.
It's New Game Plus, but they weave the narrative into the New Game Plus, and they have the true ending at the end of it.
Okay, but can't you YouTube the true ending and just... You didn't play the first DLC either?
No, I didn't.
Night Springs?
No. I mean, I'd like to. I got my physical edition, which has everything on, like, it has everything. So I now have. I didn't have it before. I didn't pay for it.
Can you play the DLC without playing the main game?
Yes. Look.
Is it standalone?
Look, I might play through the Lake House before next week. I don't know, but I really have my heart set on replaying.
You should play both. You should play both the DLCs.
Yeah,
maybe. I mean, I just really had my heart set on playing the final draft, and I haven't done it yet because, like I said, I'm drowning in stuff, and I don't know if I have time to replay something I've already played right now.
That's what's crazy. You don't have time to replay Alan Wake 2, but you do have time to play the DLC.
Night Springs is 3 individual 45-minute what-if levels that have no impact on the narrative of Alan Wake 2.
Which honestly, the fact that it has no impact on the narrative is something that makes me kind of not interested in playing it at all. But I'm going to.
It's a fun little scenario because you get to see more perspective of characters that were kind of like in the shadows and didn't really have And then the Lake House is a side story that's not necessary to the core of Alan Wake 2, but it is a crossover
with Control.
Yeah, because I mean, it is about a character, a Control character, and see, here's the thing: is that when it comes to Remedy and their downloadable content, the second expansion piece that they do is always where they put all their effort.
Right,
and
because of a rule, that's like. They said that this is how it's going to be.
I think it's just in terms of... I don't think that's...
You're drawing these conclusions.
You're taking it literally. That's the pattern. That's the pattern that we've seen.
No, I know, but he's saying it like that's a pattern that they're following almost.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, you look at Alan Wake 1's second piece of DLC, which was The Writer. That's where they had all the fun exploring, like, the epilogue of that game.
I don't think there's enough, like...
You're getting hung up on it, Brad.
You look at AWE, the second expansion for Control, and that's where it had probably the most interesting content, and they did it again with this.
Well, look, I'll play through the Lake House.
Probably, like almost like you didn't believe it.
I think I think that's what it is.
Here's my question. We can put it off, and I will play it before next week if you can tell me this. Is me not having played through the final draft and getting the true ending of Alan Wake 2 going to have any impact on my enjoyment of the Lake House?
No.
Okay, then I will play the Lake House and we can talk about it next week.
Follow-up question, did you beat Control?
Yes.
Okay, all right, you will enjoy this.
Famously not a huge Control fan.
Shut the fuck. It was on my top 10. I fucking hate you. See, this is what Brad is coming at me so hard.
What number was it?
It was my 10, bitch. There's 10 is fine. Number 10 is fine.
I just didn't remember.
Brad, you did remember because you famously always come at me for whatever I put in my number 10 slot. Like it's actually not worthy of being on my list.
That is true.
Well,
You're such a
it's
piece
not
of
just
shit.
your number
And
10
we should
slot
just do
because
it
every
top
year
nine.
you're like, I got like 5 games that could be in the number 10 spot. It's crazy this year. So like number 10 isn't just number 10. It's like barely number 10 because it's shit. Technically it's
You
sharing number
do.
10
That's
with
how
like
top
4 other
10. That's
games.
how lists work, bro.
I know, but I'm saying like if it was like safely on your top 10, it'd be like at least like an 8. I'm saying
I hate you so much.
for it to become your number 10, that means you had to strongly consider it not making the list at all.
Yes, absolutely. I did. I
So
don't know
at that
why
point
that.
it's basically like number 14.
I hate you. Like
Well,
you
I'm
are
just
the
saying.
biggest fucking troll. I hate you so much. Okay.
Just say this is where I want to Robin Williams. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Just say you hate Control. It's fun.
I don't. I don't.
I tried to do the "It's Not Your Fault" reference at work, and literally, of the 12 people I work with on a day-to-day basis, it's a lot more than that. But 12 people regularly, none of them had seen Good Will Hunting, and I'm like,
That's insane.
I get I'm a little old, but I thought Good Will Hunting was like a somewhat of a cultural like moment, back then, and to the point where like maybe since then people would have caught up on it. No.
I mean, it is kind of. I mean, I could maybe understand not recognizing the reference immediately, but having just flat out not seen the movie, 0 out of 10, 0 out of 10 people have seen the movie, or out of 12.
Out of 12 seemed crazy to me.
That's pretty.
They're all
I feel
varying
like that's
ages.
pretty
Some
nuts.
of them were like, some of the people I work with are my age or close to my age at least, and some of them are quite a bit younger. But like, that seems crazy to me. It's like, do you even know who Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are? Like, what the fuck?
What about Robin Williams? Please tell me you know who Robin Williams is.
I mean, Robin Williams. Yeah.
I mean, it is a film from 1997.
I feel like Crispy is like he wants to say something, but he's like
He does.
It looks like he's holding something in.
I'm just saying. I felt like it was, a lot of people were. It kind of like the Oscar.
No, I mean, I think you're both right in a way, and I think part of this is just Brad grappling with his impending mortality.
Nah, people know you like apples. Well, I got a number. How about them apples? But
How about applesauce, bitch?
Or they know that. They don't know that reference either. They don't know that reference either, Crispy. I got bad news for you.
I don't think they should at this point.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That one was maybe it holds up even less than Good Will Hunting.
Okay. Chris Davis, it's a date.
so
Next
sorry.
week we'll talk about the lake house.
Okay.
All right. But tonight I'm going to talk about my potential number 10 on my top 10 list. Fuck you, Brad. That's all I'm saying. I'm just kidding. I want to talk about Outlast Trials.
Quick question. Where was Alan Wake 2 on your list last year?
Number 3, 2 or 3? I think maybe my number 3.
Someone fact check that. All right.
I'll tell you in a second. Before we get too far into this footage, let me just say I apologize.
3 going on 15.
I just want to say I apologize for this footage. There's some penises in it, and I try my best to.
You're apologizing, or you're like?
You tried your best to film it.
It happens. It happens so quickly in this game, and I was like, well, this is going in the footage, I guess. But hey, it is what it is. So last night I streamed the Outlast Trials with I played with Mr. Green Toast and Sonji, which I think both of which may be in chat. At least Sonji's in chat tonight. So thanks guys for playing and showing me the ropes last night.
I'm glad that you were playing a cooperative horror game with
honestly,
Green Toes and not adversarial, because let me tell you, I've had some bad experiences with Green Toes and adversarial.
Well, here's the we're gonna play. I think we're gonna end up playing more of this, so that, there's always time. I didn't know much about the Outlast Trials outside of the fact that I'm an Outlast fan. I loved Outlast 1 and Outlast 2, and I was a little kind of taken aback when I found out the next Outlast game was going to be a multiplayer game. But I've been kind of curious about it because I'm still like pretty much all year I've just been kind of like, what the fuck even is this game? Like I don't understand how this works. So let's check it out. And it was just, it kind of worked out perfectly because yesterday I was like, I guess I'm going to do it. I'm going to go buy it. I'm going to go buy this $40 game, this multiplayer game that I'm probably going to play once and whatever. But it was on sale. There's a Halloween sale going on Steam right now. Saved some money last night, picked it up, and had a great time. I had a great time playing this game. but I'm glad to know that I finally kind of understand how this game works and what it is. Because like Outlast is a series that's known for things that I would never have guessed would translate very well to playing with other people. I mean, kind of it's a game with no combat. It's pretty much a game about being thrown into
with no combat.
It is a horror game where you are thrown into incredibly horrifying, violent. It's almost like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre of video games, where you're being chased by villains or people that are very Leatherface-esque, and you have no weapons. All you can really do is run, hide, maybe sometimes set traps, but it's really about like reacting. Like Outlast 1 and 2 are very much about they're telling a story, you're creeping through these environments. I mean, and it's also a game known for its like night vision thing, right? So you're playing a lot of the game, it's like pitch black, and you're using night vision. You can't see shit, and you're trying to avoid these horrific monstrosities, these like Leatherface level, just fucked up villains, right? So Outlast Trials kind of it like the first two, it tells an original story. It's not really connected in any significant way, and like the premise of this whole thing is that you have been captured by this this group. I'm not even sure what you would call it, that have basically trapped all of these people together, and they're making them go through therapy sessions, and the therapy sessions are basically like pitting them against not against each other, but they're throwing them into these like man-made trials where they basically release these crazy people, and you have to work together to achieve objectives while being hunted by these really fucked up, violent killers. So going into it, I was like, are we fighting each other? Are we trying to sabotage each other? But it's really about working together. You have a team of 4, and between each trial, you're in this like holding area where you have it's almost like you're in like a psych hospital. You have like a room that's yours that you can actually decorate using stuff that you earn in game. You can go just like a pharmacist where you can go and buy like you can buy like prescriptions with money and stuff and experience that you earn from the game, which gives you like permanent boosts or abilities that will help you out in the trials. And you can also pay and upgrade what they call rigs, and you can only have one rig at a time, and each rig gives you like some crazy one-off thing that's based on a cooldown, right? So like the one that I picked was an X-ray, which allows me to obviously see through walls, see where enemies are. And you can upgrade that over time, which eventually makes the X-ray thing more powerful. It lasts longer. It allows other people that are on your team to see the same thing you can see when you activate it. But you have to upgrade those things by completing these trials. But the trials are really interesting. Like the first one we did was this fucked up police station. And when I say these are man-made, these are like you come into this giant like. It feels like you're in the middle of a warehouse, and they have just created. It's almost like it almost feels like a laser tag type setup, right? But they've made it like this really elaborate, and all the doors have crazy locks on them, and there's traps like actual like fucked up traps everywhere. And every once in a while, you're being timed, so throughout the trial, they'll like slowly release more and more crazy people into the arena. So it kind of gives you incentive to work together faster and whatnot. So it's a really interesting concept.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Not you actually. It's chat.
Mm-hmm.
Is this like? Is this a like a type of game that like is this a copy of something else that exists? I know Nick doesn't play a lot of like multiplayer games, so like he might not realize like, oh, it's one of those.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it might be. And Winged actually says, Winged in chat says, so it's an escape room, and it kind of is. It's kind of like a really fucked up escape room where you're working together to solve puzzles and stuff. But like, the puzzles get so fucked up. They're,
you sick fuck.
I mean, yeah, I do kind of feel fucked up that I like these games so much, because they are like probably the most violent video games I've ever played and enjoyed. I feel like a a touch point for some people might be like it almost feels like the next version of Manhunt, almost like the kind of like the natural progression of something like Man. I mean, it always has felt like that. Outlast 1 kind of felt like that. I mean, it feels. I mean, the whole thing is so gratuitous and so over the top that it feels almost like you're part of a snuff film. I know that's fucked up to say, but that is the premise, and they've leaned into it so hard, but it works. And translating that to a cooperative experience in these like fucked up trial situations, while also being able to tell a story, is just really it works really well within like the quote unquote the universe that they've created, right? But like. So, like, as an example, the first trial we did was in this like fake police station, right? And the main objective of the whole trial is to eliminate the snitch. So there's this guy who's like strapped to a chair, and the chair is on like a track, and you have to like, and he's just like struggling, and you have to push him through this police station on this track until you get to the room, the execution room, and push him into like an execution chamber, and then you have to work together as a team to electrocute him to death while you're being attacked by these crazy people in this thing. So, but you can't just push him straight to the thing to the end.
Mode just for you, Nick.
That's fucked up. I mean, I walked right into that, I guess. I mean, no, it doesn't. I think it is genuinely just a really smart next step for this franchise. I mean, like I'm still kind of bummed, like, because I really enjoy Outlast 1 and 2 just as from a pure like horror storytelling perspective. I think they're really atmospheric, they're really great, and the night vision thing is a really cool gimmick, and they lean into it really hard. But like they've come up with some really neat ideas for this cooperative experience. I fully intend to play more of this, and I'm hoping we can find at least one other person who has the game that wants to play with us in the community, because right now it's just me, Green Toast, and Sonji. But there's got to be somebody else out there who's playing this. I'm wondering how this game did, honestly. But like we were playing like
SteamDB.
But here's the thing: we were playing it last night, and we were in like because like when you're in the waiting area in between the trials, it's there's people just kind of hanging out in there, right? And they even have things you can arm wrestle each other, you can play chess together, and it's just like people going about their day living in this like kind of like psych hospital environment, and then you squat up, and then you go out. You get on the shuttle, and the shuttle takes you out to these trials. But yeah, man, I don't know. This is just and Green Toast just said they added Palm.
3,000 people playing right now. So I mean, which is
okay. So
concurrent. I mean,
that's not bad, right? I mean, I'm not like keeping track of these numbers, but that sounds pretty good for this kind of game.
Yeah.
I mean, it is Halloween, so that might be
all-time peak is 36,000 concurrent, which is huge.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it is Halloween right now, so I would imagine there's probably a lot more people, and I think they're doing a Halloween event. So I might want to play that this week, catch up on some of that. But man, really cool. There is a task. I'm just gonna say it because we're not gonna get to it in the footage, and maybe that's a good thing. In one of the second trial we did, there's a dude that's on like a crucifix. And you have to saw his legs off, but it's like but
it's a cooperative moment.
It's a cooperative thing, so it's like a saw, and you're on both sides, and you have to like
it's a tree trunk.
Yes, yes. And you're sawing his feet off, and he's like screaming while it's happening.
Oh, you!
And Nick was just smiling the entire time. Like it was a little disturbing. I'll be honest.
It's dude, I know. People in chat are like, Nick, you're a sick fuck. And I'm like, you're right. Everyone who made this game is a sick fuck. But it's kind of like they're a sick fuck in the same way that like the person who made the Texas but like the people who made the Texas Chainsaw Massacre are sick fucks. But like, you know, there's people.
I'm not saying they're normal too.
I'm not saying anybody here is normal. It's fucking crazy. It's like there's horror games or movies even where, you know, obviously subtlety is a major thing,
it's
right?
So
and build up. This is the opposite of subtlety.
It's funny you say this because that first horror story that I listened to on my stream last night was like, or 2 nights ago, was very it's like, oh, this is some Nick shit. It was like first person, like it was like monologuing from like the psycho, the killer, murdery guy, kind of like. So it was very.
It is Nick coded, and it's funny because I really do kind of hate the fact that I've just inadvertently made that my thing. I never intended to, but it has
it's
become.
Not inadvertent, Nick. You were just born that way.
I was just born this way. But man, like there's not like this is just like they were like we could make a horror game that's like subtle and creepy, but we're gonna go the complete opposite end of the spectrum and make something that is completely over the top, in your face, gratuitous violence, not for the faint of heart, and that's what they've done. And I really kind of respect it. I don't know. I really kind of respect it. It's
Juan in chat brings up a good point, Nick. It used to be dinosaurs. How did you get from dinosaurs to this
what happened?
Shit? What happened to you?
Dude, but like it's what's funny? Like I think about the reputation I have for loving dinosaurs or whatever. And that's maybe it's true. I love dinosaurs, but I think back to when I was younger and like outside of like things like Jurassic Park, like what dinosaur things did I watch? And I remember I used to like watch back when I used to go to like Blockbuster and rent movies or whatever. One of the movies I would rent, I've rented this movie so many times. I think it's called Carnivore. Is it? No. Is it called Carnivore?
Carnivore, yeah. There were 3 or 4 of them.
Of course, Chris Davis knows.
Yeah, which is like.
Well, no, I'll tell you how I know, because when Jurassic Park was coming out, my father said, "Okay, yeah, this movie might be a little scary for y'all. Let's get you another dinosaur movie to get you prepared for Jurassic Park." And it was Carnivores that he showed it to us. You know,
is it Carnivores?
Perfect for like a 7-year-old. Yeah.
Is that what I'm thinking of? I don't know. No, because this. Okay, I'm trying to find it right now. But like, my point is, the other dinosaur films that I watched were incredibly violent. Like R-rated to as fuck. Just yeah. So it was pretty messed up for me back then too, I guess, which maybe explains a lot. I'm sorry, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I just need to stop talking. Outlast Trials is a really cool idea. I'm gonna play more of this because I'm only like level 3, and like I was playing with Green Toast last night. Green Toast is level 50.
I mean, that's how Green Toast is with these multiplayer games.
Yeah, Green Toast.
Green Toast
goes really
hard.
sick.
He's really fucked up.
He just plays a lot of multiplayer shit.
But like, there's also like little things I didn't really mention. There's like so many like little things that I didn't mention that are like mechanical. Like there's like one of the like they have these like they have like crazy people they release into the maps, but like they also have these like main like set piece crazy people that are like characters that all have their own like they have names, they have their own like weapons that they're known for, whatever, and they stalk you, and they're more violent and more aggressive. And oh my god, I just completely lost where I was going with this. Oh my god, I forgot where I was going with that. It just completely left me. But oh, that's where I was. Okay, so like there's one that will everyone like his thing that he uses is this like he has this like canister on his back, and he has like a sprayer, and he douses you with this like gas that makes you like hallucinate, and your sanity will drop, and when your sanity drops, it becomes a lot harder to like see and navigate, and you're suddenly while you're hallucinating, you start being stalked by this killer that that nobody else can see, and I forgot what they call him. Maybe Green Toast can tell me. It's like Shadow Man or Shadow Stalker or something. But Skinner Man, yeah. So you're like suddenly you're hallucinating. Nobody else in your team is hallucinating, and you're like running around trying to avoid this dude that can teleport and attack you, and like you can't really hide from him. So you have to like desperately like run around and try and find antidotes that will like help you bring your sanity back down or back up. Yeah, man, it's wild. It's a wild game. I'll just leave it at that. I'm gonna play more of this. If there's anybody listening who plays this game, who's in our Discord or in our community and wants to play, we need one more person. Because I fully intend on playing more of this. Because it's pretty deep, and I really enjoyed my first time with it. But it is very fucked up. Not for the faint of heart. The other game, and I'm not going to talk too much about this because I think Chris Davis said a lot of it earlier this year. but I did start playing Alone in the Dark. Why not? It's in my library now. Why not?
Damn.
Did you finish this, Chris Davis?
Yeah, I played it through twice.
2 playthroughs.
Twice. That's right. He been through twice.
I was accused.
Yeah,
I was in
both
chat
the characters.
relaying information that was delivered to me by one Chris Davis on this podcast, and Nick was skeptical. It's like, there's no way Chris Davis said that. He had to have said this. And I'm here to set the record straight.
Oh no, he went and got receipts.
He was like, well, maybe Chris Davis just said it's the same type of combat as Resident Evil 2 Remake. And I'm like, no. This was a quality assessment. He says it's on the level, quality-wise, of Resident Evil 2 Remake. So my question for you is, Nick, and we have receipts. The podcast is on YouTube, uploaded by the man himself, self-incriminating. Is the combat quality-wise as good as Resident Evil 2 Remake?
No. But
Oh, shit.
Damn.
And the reason why I was trying to give Chris Davis the benefit of the doubt is because it's definitely like Resident Evil 2 Remake coded, like the over the shoulder camera.
That's fine, but that's not what he said.
I wasn't gonna go dig up receipts. I was just saying that's why I assumed. But anyways, and it's I never thought I'd say something like this, but having just come off the Silent Hill 2 remake, this has nothing on Silent Hill 2 either. In terms of its combat. But with that said, I don't think the combat is bad. I think it's perfectly
I was surprised
suitable.
to see you had a dodge.
I didn't realize there was a dodge. It's kind of similar. It's a little finicky, and it's not very precise. Like I feel like you have way more control over it in like Silent Hill 2.
Yeah.
But it is there. What's up, Crispy?
Can I point out that Chris Davis is being awfully quiet about this?
I'm watching the footage.
I would like to offer a chance to rebuttal.
I don't think. It is what it is. He said what he said. It's fine.
Anything that comes out of my mouth is just going to be twisted and misconstrued by Brad.
All right. Don't play the victim, generalize like that. How dare you? I'm referring to one specific conversation we had on this podcast. That's all.
Well, Chris Davis enjoyed the game enough to play through it twice.
I hear it's quite good. He was the only person I heard kind of defend the combat.
Right.
But whatever. Besides the
I don't
point,
even want to talk about combat. I think if you want to hear more about the combat, I would say go back and listen to what Chris Davis had to say about it earlier this year.
How was the lady?
Jodie Comer?
Jodie Comer.
I think the performances in this game are good, but they're also intentionally kind of like, I guess, is pulpy the right word? Or I don't know.
That's fair.
I would certainly worry about the actor choices being a little too Hollywood and kind of phoning in the performance. They are better than that.
Sure. Yeah. This is not their best work. They're not going to be known for their performances in Alone in the Dark 2024.
No.
But they are definitely better than average. I would say, and it's not even beyond David Harbour and Jodie Comer. There's a surprising amount of characters in this game that are all really well voice acted. And one thing I really appreciate, but also it's one of the downsides of the game, is when you find notes, right? Your favorite thing, Brad, you find notes. They're all voice acted, so you can listen to someone read them to you. And
that's nice.
And it's nice, except for the fact that you can't exit out of the thing and walk around while they're talking. So you have to just sit there and listen to them. It's really well done. It's just kind of you couldn't have taken it just a little bit further and let me walk around while you read it to me. That would have been nice.
I guess that makes. I don't know. It's not an audio log, I suppose. It doesn't make sense that you can walk around
treat it
and
like
listen
one
to it because it's just a note. But yeah, you could.
The thing that works for me with this game that I'm really enjoying, and the thing that goes really far for me, is that it's a period piece, and so that translates. It's basically taking place. I don't actually know exactly what year it takes place, but it feels like 1930s Louisiana. I think might be pretty close. But it takes. But so a lot of the music feels my favorite thing about this game is walking around Deserta, the mansion, essentially exploring the mansion, solving the puzzles. There's very little combat in those. There is some, but there's not a ton of it. So it feels very like Resident Evil 1, throwback to Resident Evil 1. And then the way they kind of like introduce combat into it is like, because the whole thing is about there's some kind of like cult thing and voodoo going on, and like someone found a way to like teleport or like go into like this alternate dimension with this talisman, and you're unlocking portals throughout the mansion that take you to other places throughout. So you'll like walk through a door in this mansion, all of a sudden you're in like the streets of New Orleans, right, at night, and it's just like those transitions feel really neat when they happen. And like we kind of talked right past it in the footage, but like early on in this footage, I like walked into a room and I just kind of like started walking forward, and then the room like literally blinked into an alternate reality version of the room where there's like everything's dilapidated and there were suddenly enemies in the room attacking me, and that just came out of nowhere. I don't know how often they do that, or if it's randomized, or if it only happens at certain moments, but that was really neat. And then all of a sudden I turn around and I'm back in the mansion, and everything is, you know, brightly lit and clean, and it has this kind of like peaceful, soothing music, and you're running into these weird characters who, like, it's weird. Like when you first get to this mansion, everything feels like it's abandoned or like there's nobody living there. But every once in a while, you'll walk into a room and there's just there are people here. Where the fuck is everybody? But they're all it's like Silent Hill. They're all fucking weird and like what's wrong with all these people? Like that's the kind of shit I'm into. I like that. Like my favorite part about this game is the exploring of the mansion. When it kind of branches off and you start going into these like other places, and it's like it becomes a little bit more linear, and it's very clearly like, okay, there's going to be more enemies here, so get ready for kind of a combat heavy area. I'm a little less into it, not because it's bad, but because I'm really just itching to kind of get back to the finding the keys and solving the weird fucking puzzles and meeting all the creepy people and just kind of taking in the vibes of it all, because the vibes are immaculate. I think the vibes in this game are kind of incredible, honestly.
Yeah, they're pretty alright. Yeah. Did you how far are you in it? You haven't beaten it, right?
I'm like I'm like 3.5 hours in.
Okay, all right.
It's funny because like I said this earlier. Like I went to record footage tonight, and as soon as I hit record, I walked through a door, and all of a sudden I was in the exact same place where you recorded footage. I was like, I don't want to capture like literally the exact same footage. So that should kind of tell you where I was. It's not super far, but definitely played enough to kind of get the idea of like what they're going for, and I'm into it.
I mean, the cool thing to me is, and the reason why I played through this game twice is that, again, like the Resident Evil 2 remake, you are going through 80% the same game essentially, but depending on whether you're playing as Edward Carnby or Jodie Comer's character, I forget her name, like the interactions with the characters can be drastically different. They get their own like sub stories where you get more of their background and like the trauma that they've experienced on their own. Like
right.
It's worth playing through twice just to get all that background character perspective and those character exclusive experiences.
Yeah, and I think it's like, obviously I'm a big Resident Evil fan, like classic Resident Evil, classic survival horror, and this feels like the brand of survival horror that I miss. And I say miss, I shouldn't say miss, because I feel like we're kind of living through a renaissance of survival horror at the moment. I mean, Signalis, case in point, is an amazing game, and then just looking back at this year alone, we also have things like Crow Country and Conscript, which I think are amazing games. So I don't really miss it. I'm just really glad to see so many games like bringing that back. But this is also the thing. I don't want to call this AAA, because obviously this feels like maybe a little bit more budget than something like the Resident Evil 2 remake. AA. But I'll say this, for a AA game, this game is beautiful. Yeah. Like, until maybe you get like, sometimes you get like close up with like an enemy, you're like, okay, maybe this is a little muddy, you know. But like the backdrop of the game and like just the vibes and the way they create atmosphere in this game is actually really fucking good. And I hope it kind of keeps that up to the end, because I'm into it. I'm definitely going to finish this game.
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole lot of this game can be described as, quote, ain't the best. You know, they try.
A little rough around the edges, but it's got heart.
Enemy design could be better. Some of the writing could be better.
It could also be worse. The enemy design could also be way worse.
Yeah, but
in fact, one of the main enemies you encounter in this game really reminds me of the enemies in Resident Evil 7. If that tells you anything.
There's a lot of inspiration put into the Resident Evil franchise as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad
cool,
somebody
man.
else is playing this.
Like the feeling you get when you're like, I found a key or I found this weird thing, and where the hell do I use this? It's all over this game. I love it. Sorry, go ahead.
I was actually gonna play it until I saw that Nick was gonna stream, and I'm like, I guess it's kind of taking the wind out of my sails there. That's fine.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with playing it yourself.
What else you got in your library worth the shit, Chris Davis? Because
I don't know. I brought 900 games to the table. Why
There's so many games.
What are they? How many Humble Bundles did you buy? Are they anything good? There's a lot of.
I'm sure there's plenty
good.
I also tried mouthwashing.
No, that's
by the way.
Carlos game.
It is a Carlos game.
How much of that did you play?
Like an hour. I was surprised. Like, I was like, maybe this game isn't super streamable. I don't know. It's cool. Like, it's a cool concept. It's weird. I have no idea what the fuck is going on. It's definitely Carlos coded. That's for sure. But I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I feel like I should just let Carlos describe it. We should get Carlos on the show to talk about mouthwashing, because it's weird. Something about you're on a corporate ship that crash lands on an alien planet or something, and you only have like a certain amount of food left, and then you find out that you've been transporting mouthwash. Like you're on the ship and you're like, what are we dying for? And they find out they just have a cargo hold full of mouthwash, and they're like, this is it. This is what's happening. This is why we're gonna die out here. But it goes
It'd be that way
way further than that. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to play it just to see where it goes. It got its hooks in me. It just didn't feel very engaging to watch, maybe on the stream. So I don't know.
Just
anyways,
all over again.
Yeah. Hey, give me credit, man. You know what? I'm not even gonna do it. Let's. Am I
you
missing
tried
anything?
something, Nick. You tried something,
and I'm
I'll
gonna
give you
finish it.
credit.
I'm gonna finish it. There's
No,
I
meant Skinamarink. Like,
oh yeah,
well,
I did finish
it.
it. I did finish it, and
well,
whatever.
Okay,
Let's not go back there.
We'll get you there.
All right.
We'll get you there.
All right. So, are there any other games, or should we go ahead and wrap up with the 4-player minute? Let's do it.
You dinky dink, Skinamarink do. I love you.
What was that show?
Wasn't that Hufflepugus or whatever? Stuffle.
I don't remember the name.
Winged says we need everyone on to discuss the last month of Fantasy Critic and get into some hints for the top 10. We should maybe are we going to do another Fantasy Critic show before the end of the year, or just a final one? I don't know. It's almost November, so
depends.
Pretty close.
You and Carlos need to figure out the rest of y'all's fucking slots, so y'all don't.
Yeah, you do.
Throw.
I told you, I'm waiting
especially because
I'm waiting for everybody else's list to fill up, so I don't have any competition with my $2.
It's a competition. You need to figure out a trade.
Nobody wants my trades. Nobody wants what I have to offer.
Nick, I got 3 games for $5.
I have $2.
Can I say?
I have 3 slots at $2.
Does no one want this? Okay, so there are people who know they are not going to win. Okay,
I am one of them.
Clear here. That's math. Does no one want to try to grab Silksong as a Hail Mary? Because we are talking about a game that might be worth 30 points. And there is a not zero chance that it shadow drops with the Game Awards.
At this point, I really hope it doesn't.
The thing is, I don't need Silksong to come out, but it could definitely change. What I'm saying is I can lose it. I don't need it, but some other people could.
I'll give you $2 for it.
For the Hail Mary. Well, this is what I'm talking about.
All right. Let's see what happens, Brad. I'll put forth the trade, and you're going to reject it.
$2. No, you got 3 slots.
I know.
Well, I'm not going to
can't-
reject it. I didn't reject that last trade. I don't know who did.
I mean, here's the problem. I also, because the wheels came off my list between all the delays.
Do the math. I don't need Silksong to come out. I'm saying
No,
I
I
think
know
it's
that,
a
Brad.
fun twist. If
I'm
someone
saying I don't have much to
crosses their
offer.
fingers for the game.
I don't have much to offer. Like I can't give away much in the way of games, because then I'm just eating even more into my points that I already have.
You're right, and there's not a lot to grab, really. Remember, there is a second place prize this year.
I know. Don't worry about it. I'll make a move.
You're going to have to sell a game. Is there anybody who has? Carlos has money left, right? So
Yes.
you could. Does anybody else have any open slots besides Carlos and you?
I don't think
No?
so.
If you sell a game with a legit score to Carlos for a healthy amount of
legit
money,
score though is the problem. I don't think I'm willing to part with anything that scored above an 80.
But you don't want to have a goose egg, right?
I don't, and of course I don't, but I might have to take it. Anyways, let's talk about this off the podcast. This could go on all night.
Quick, I need to point this out to you, Nick, is that if you do not choose a counterpick game by Friday...
No, I don't have to pick a counterpick game. I super drop my counterpick.
Yeah.
It's a -7.
Come on, Chris Davis. We've talked about this with you.
That's how that's
okay. Because I'm just saying, I'm looking at Fancy Critic right now, and it's putting that
You're right. This is a January conversation. It's going to be manually adjusted to a -7.
Yeah,
don't worry.
That was what we decided at the beginning of the year. If you super drop your counterpick, you lose -7.
Which you lose 7 points. What did you drop? You brought Wukong, so you would have definitely lost more points than 7.
I only would have lost 10 points. So I mean,
what is it on Open?
An 80 or an 81? Maybe it would have been 4 points.
1 or 82, I think. 11 points,
which is outrageous, by the way. The game is fantastic.
I agree.
Good score.
You should play it, Crispy. I have it. It's on my Steam library.
Well,
maybe.
Yeah. I mean, 4 points is 4 points. I mean that it's worth more than.
I know.
You think?
Anyways,
yeah, my
4-player minute.
It's gonna be about Monster Hunter, of course. The Monster Hunter beta started today.
And you're playing it
on PlayStation.
I'm not playing it. I haven't even installed it yet. I have some thoughts though. I'm a little worried about PS5 performance. My PC is not really up to snuff to play it on PC, so I'm going to be playing it on PS5. I'm a little worried about the performance. I'm annoyed, right, that like the first game I want to be perfect after the Pro was announced is a game that's certainly not running perfect. But again, I was more nervous of like the potential of wanting a Pro for Monster Hunter back when I knew it wasn't as expensive as it is. So now it's just like, well, this is just what I'm going to have to do.
Now it's definitely not happening.
Yeah. The other thing that I'm on my mind is just some of the I wouldn't say that I'm like not paying attention to all the stuff that's been going on because I kind of want to wait and see it myself. One thing that they introduced that I've been laughing at and kind of annoyed with is they introduced decimal points as an option. You can turn on decimal points on damage numbers. So instead of like, this slash does 86 damage, you could do like 85.7, which is like such an odd thing. It's mostly for people. The intended purpose of it is the people who like to lab out like the formulas for why maybe something is doing the damage that it is, right? There are like literally Monster Hunter math people who just like to calculate that stuff. But I've already seen videos and clips of people playing the game with the decimal points on. And I'm finding it infuriating because outside of that scenario where someone is trying to do the calculations, maybe in like training or whatever, to figure out why they're getting the numbers they're getting, because Monster Hunter math can be complex. It's an insane thing. It's useless information, obviously, when you're during a hunt. A damage number is useless because it's useful because it's showing you, am I hitting like a damaging zone on the monster, right? Is me wailing on this part actually a weak point, or is he actually like resisting? Damage numbers do communicate information. Knowing whether it's like an 87 or an 86 based on the decimal point is not useful information during a hunt. And what I hate is that I'm worried like speedrunners who are obsessed about like the maximum builds are all going to have the decimal points on in all of their videos. And it's infuriating because it's just like another number to like try to pay attention to. It's like it's gibberish. It's not useful information for a viewer. And it's infuriating that I'm already seeing it because now you're having to look at 3 numbers instead of 2, or you're having to like filter out like that last number. Just don't turn on that option. It's insane. It's fucking insane. Don't do it. Literally just showing you the closest integer. I mean, it's so stupid, but that's it. It's just a silly little thing, but it's already bothering me. Other than that, everything else looks fucking incredible. My God. Yeah.
Cool.
The thing is, I don't know how much I want to play this because I'm already a
the
little
beta?
worried
Yeah.
about, there's other stuff coming out like Dragon Age, like Castlevania DLC, and I'm like, I don't just play Monster Hunter all weekend, whatever. Crazy shit.
All right, Crispy, how about you go next?
Well, so one thing I want to mention in my 4-player minute is movies. I didn't mention at the beginning of the show when we were talking about that. So in the last week, I watched Megan, which was pretty good. It was fun.
Yeah,
it was a fun kind of like
right.
I don't know why
that was kind of an overrated horror movie situation, a little bit like Smile was.
You know what it felt like? I mean, it was a fun kind of horror movie. It felt like a horror movie for families, like a family horror movie.
That's interesting.
It was like a watered down Chucky movie.
There isn't even really like that much blood in it or anything. Yeah. Like it's kind of weird.
It was PG-13, literally PG-13.
Yeah, it was.
Really?
Wasn't it?
Megan was PG-13?
It had to have been
PG-13.
There's nothing in that would warrant an R. And then the other thing, last night I watched a movie that I had never seen before for the first time, and it was a biggie. I watched Con Air for the first time. And I swear to God, I never seen Con Air. I watched it last night. It's exactly what I thought it was, and it was so fucking
good.
sick. It's so great. Like the second
I'll go
Nicolas
with Cyrus
Cage,
the Virus, right?
Oh, dude, they're all great. Oh, Ving Rhames is so good in it. Fucking Dave Chappelle,
Buscemi.
like Steve Buscemi's character is insane.
Literally.
Like I didn't even know. I don't know that much about that movie, but like the moment Nicolas Cage started talking and he's doing like the Louisiana accent, and it's like kind of like his Raising Arizona accent, but not exactly the same. I was like, oh, this is gonna be
for a
good.
treat.
Like this is gonna be a fucking romp, and boy was it. And his buddy, who's like dying from diabetic shock the whole time, is Bubba from Forrest Gump, which I watched recently as well. Yeah, so good. It's such a fucking good movie.
Did this movie give you a new appreciation for the meme with the hair blowing in the wind?
Oh yeah, I mean, when it came up, I was like, and there's the meme, and it was great. It was like so good. It's like the winds of freedom. I love the idea. I fucking love the premise that this whole thing starts because a U.S. Army Ranger war veteran gets attacked by a guy with a knife in Louisiana and accidentally kills him while defending himself and his pregnant wife. And that guy got sent to prison? Yeah, fucking right. Like, are you kidding me? That's insane. That's so insane. And the judge is like, with your army training, you are a deadly weapon. I sentence you to 7 to 10 years. Like, it's
pretty insane.
Oh, it just doesn't track. A lot of things about that movie do not track in a post 9/11 world. Also, I did not know that the fucking like cops throughout the movie were John Cusack, which is cool, and Colin Meaney, which is great. Like, and he plays a fucking dickhead. He's so good.
I was gonna ask you about that.
Chief O'Brien. Oh, every time he pops up in something, I'm like, oh, fucking Chief. Yes. Like,
beautiful.
Good movie. I'm glad I watched it.
I'm glad you watched it too. It makes me want to go back and rewatch it. Holy shit. Nice. Time well spent. Chris Davis, you're up.
I'm up. Well, so I'm done with the Lake House and done with Tactical Breach Wizards. My next game for me to focus on is Space Marine 2. Thank you to, I guess it was Nolan that bought it, but thank you.
I bought it too.
Nolan.
Well,
I don't actually. Yeah, it's probably me. I don't think Nolan bought it.
Okay, well, thank you, Nick. I appreciate it.
That'd be me. Yeah.
And
you're welcome.
Oh no, the other game that I was thinking about was Nolan. I think. I've been thinking about trying to squeeze in Dragon's Dogma 2 before Stalker 2 comes out. So,
that sounds more like Nolan.
I mean, I also bought Dragon's Dogma on Steam, so technically it's me again. But I'm sure Nolan did as well.
Dragon's Dogma 2 specifically. I'm not going to play the
That's
original.
what I'm saying.
Enough with the stolen valor, Nick.
I bought Dragon's Dogma 2 on Steam. I'm just saying. It could be Nolan, but it also could be me. You can thank me again, okay?
It'll tell you on the Steam family like whose copy you're borrowing, and has a little button that lets you switch. Like if there's multiple, it'll tell you if there's multiple.
You can borrow both of ours.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Oh my god.
Let's see.
I'm scrolling through Steam right now, and I'm discovering things from y'all's libraries that makes me go, wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah. There are going to be a few games you're going to see on there that were gifted to me by Chai Tai over the years that have to do with fucking dinosaurs.
Well,
there's lots of them.
Is Cuckold Simulator one of those? Because I just found that.
That's a Carlos gift. That's a beautiful, beautiful gift from Carlos.
How can you make a game out of that? Isn't being a cuckold about lack of interaction?
I like how their last update for that game was Valentine's Day 2020.
Oh man.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Nothing really, unless you want me to talk about my house. My fence is up.
Oh, we're good.
Nope, we're good.
Ooh, what kind of wood do you go with?
No, we're good.
What kind of wood?
It's wood. I have no idea other than that.
It?
My countertops are in, and my cabinets are in. So,
ooh, what kind of granite?
Brad,
did
shut
you
up.
go with granite, or did you go with
I hate you.
it was just granite,
like a
just granite.
stone counter?
No, just
This
granite.
man's got marble countertops, and he's
Marble
embarrassed to admit it.
Yeah. I do like my bathroom tile. That's pretty nice.
Tell us about it.
I can't
Well,
wait.
it-
Shut
You
up.
go for a
Be
big
good,
tile,
you're gonna
small
be-
tile?
I am
What
going to
color
have a welcoming party one of these days.
What kind of grout?
What kind of grout? Tell me about the grout. That's pretty good. All right. My 4-player minute starts now. I'll say, so I didn't talk about it tonight because we were mostly talking about horror games anyways, but I'm about 17 hours, 18 hours or something like that into Metaphor Refantasio. I still don't feel like I'm very far in the grand scheme of things, so hopefully by next week I will be significantly farther, and I'd love to talk about that. But also, Dragon Age comes out in 2 days, and I'm definitely going to be playing Dragon Age. So I'm going to be juggling two massive RPGs that couldn't be more different. But that's kind of exciting in and of itself. But I'm juggling like 9 different things right now. I'm playing Alone in the Dark. I still haven't finished Pacific Drive, which I fully intend on getting back to. I have not really touched Star Wars Outlaws in the grand scheme of things, and that is a game I am not going to just let sit there.
You should finish it.
I fully intend to. It was my most anticipated game of the year, and even though it didn't necessarily end up being my favorite game of the year, at least so far, I don't know, that could change, but like, it's not something I'm just going to let sit there and gather dust on my shelf. So, I have a lot of stuff coming out, and then of course my next most anticipated game is Stalker. And I have a feeling when that game comes out, I'm just gonna like drop everything, and that's gonna be like my life for a while. So yeah, man, it's crazy times, but also the best of times. So a lot of stuff to talk about in the coming weeks. So we hope you'll stick with us here at 4Player Podcast. And that's our show. That's it. That's all I got. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us live on Twitch or YouTube, we appreciate it. But I want to remind everybody, if you're not, we'd love to have you in our Discord at discord.gg/4player. You can find all of our episodes on 4playernetwork.com. And, of course, have a safe, happy Halloween, which is in 2 days. And, of course, if you're stateside, don't forget to vote. Can't stress it enough. Very important. Get out there and vote. Yeah, so in the meantime, guys, be good to each other, play video games, and good night.